Hello, 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 Steelers Nation. Lou coming at you with 6 rings and counting. Oh, and I'm sure you already know what am I doing bringing in the intro. Well, it is because we are going to be without our main man, the knowledge of the show, the man that makes this whole organized chaos click, Mr. Corey Idle. He's out this week, so I'm going to do the best I can to hold down the fort and at least get you some type of show out here that could be comprehensible and give you some type of knowledge. And hopefully we can get back on the winning track this week. We'll start with last week's game. Now, I'm sure you guys all saw the TikTok or saw the short I put out, and most of it was viewed on TikTok. Hopefully you guys start viewing it more on YouTube as well. And with that being said, matter of fact, since we're starting out, why don't you go ahead and like and subscribe to the show right now? It'll really help us out, get us in the right algorithm, and we really appreciate all the support that you guys give us. That being said, well, like I said, we'll bring up the game from last week. I've calmed down a little bit from the game because, I had one foot over the side of the ship. I was starting to walk the plank a little bit on the season, but we have 15 games left. We do have a good head coach. Whether you like him or not, he's a good head coach. I know we've been spoiled by just winning seasons when other organizations would love to have that. And I'm here to tell you right now, though, we're not those organizations. So this just winning seasons is some bullshit. We need to start winning some football games in December and January, bottom line. But that being said, we lose the time of possession again last week, people. We lose the time of possession again. This is getting to be a pattern. Mike Tomlin himself says one's a situation, two's a pattern, however he puts it in his Mike Tomlinisms. But this is 2 games in a row where we've both lost the time of possession and we've been run over like they're using highway construction tools and they're running at us right up the middle of the football field. Everybody's saying, where's TJ Watt? Where's TJ Watt? He had his baby and got his bag and now he's done. Well, people, go back and look at the All-22. Yes, TJ Watt has to make some plays because he's not the only defensive end. Don't you think they double team Micah Parsons? He's still making plays. TJ has got to figure out how to make plays. That being said, guys like Micah Parsons, Max Crosby, Myles Garrett, all these guys are still producing some plays throughout, even though being double teamed. One of the reasons why is teams can't simply line up and run the ball right up the middle of their defense, which brings me to the first thing we need to replace on this defense is Mr. Benton. I'm sorry. It's hard to say a guy who's 205 to 210 pounds is too small, but he's too small. He's getting blown off the ball. He's getting absolutely blown off the ball. And we have Y.A. Black sitting over there who's holding down his position when they stick him in and give him reps, which is not nose guard, but when it's broke, fix it. You said yourself, Tomlin, 2's a pattern. Are we going to roll for 3 this week? Or are we going to simply fix Mr. Benton and switching places with Mr. Black and let him play from there? Because Harmon still probably will not play this week. No, I wouldn't play him this week or next week if it's iffy, unless you get to the point where you're starting to lose this game, and then you have to play him in Dublin against the Vikings. But if you can win this one, you can maybe hold him out against the Vikings, and then that following that is the bye week, so he should definitely be ready by the time they come back. I believe it's against the Browns. In the meantime, you at least got to attempt to put a Band-Aid on it. Right now, this is a gusher. It's like we have a artery that's cut and we're not even, damn, a tourniquet. We're not even trying to put a Band-Aid on it. We're just rolling back out with the same lame lineup on defense. You look at this game. Yes, it looks like Peyton Willis. First off, he's not playing well at all. I was wrong on him. Through 2 games, I was completely wrong. I was high on the young man, but he's got to quit running around blocks. Yes, he had 10 tackles, but where are they on the field? 5 yards down the field, 10 yards down the field, maybe sprinkle 1 or 2 behind the line or at the line. But the majority of those 10 tackles, I think it was 8 assisted, 2 unassisted tackles for a linebacker. Unacceptable. So therefore, he's running around too many blocks. Benton's getting blown off the ball. You can say Benton's getting blown back into the linebackers all you want to, which is a fact, but they still have to be more physical. This team ran the ball. Let me just check here. I believe 19 times for 117 yards. And our middle linebacker, Patrick Queen, has 6 tackles. Has 6 tackles. 3 solo, 3 assisted. Where are you? Again, are we going to keep using the excuse that Benton's getting blown off the ball? Well, that is the center of your defense. I wonder why everybody's ran in there. We're going against a team this week whom I'm familiar with their coach, very familiar, and he is a very, very physical guy. Where do you think they're going to run the ball at until Pittsburgh proves they can stop it? It's simple. They're running that damn ball up the middle. They're going to run it up the middle until somebody stops it. When are we going to make the adjustment? Like, Tara Austin's coming out this week saying all the right things, but what's he supposed to say? Man wants his job. But Mike got his fingerprints all over this defense. I don't care what anybody tells you. Tomlin has his prints all over this defense. And now Tara Austin's got to go out there. When was the last time you see the Steelers coordinators coming out explaining themselves? I don't even think Matt Canada came out this early in the year and was doing it. This dude knows his defense is trash. And then when you go watch the all 22 right out the lineup, I'm watching the game Sunday with my uncle. Smith and Jigma's in the slot. We got outside leverage, no middle linebacker. They're playing man to man. That linebacker's got to run with that tight end. Once the tight end runs out, the receiver runs in. We got outside leverage on him. Do you know what that means, people? It just simply means he's got an easy slant on 3rd and 7, 3rd and 10. And these are first downs. It doesn't matter who you have out there. They're lined up wrong. It may be the right defense if properly lined up. These all 22s will teach you a lot. If you have access to them or you can go see them, please go watch those videos, and a lot of this will make sense. This defense has to improve, and we'll get to we'll touch on it more when we get to scores. But on the offensive side of the ball, I don't know. We look competent, and then we just look like we haven't been coached. I don't know. There was one guy who came to play football last week, and clearly it was the running back, Jalen Warren. My man had a hell of a game. And I'm not telling you, take away the long 65-yard, 63-yard catch, and he still played one hell of a football game. He had better pass protection than Broderick Jones, than McCormick. Fautano didn't have a great game, but I watched some of this game. I go back and watch all the games. And I showed my wife a clip, showed her a play where Broderick Jones just got slapped and turned around, turned his back to the defensive lineman. What are we doing? And if we're going to bench, which we should, Caleb Johnson, for whatever the hell that was he done on the kickoff return, which I'm not going to rehash because I put out a short video about that and I'm trying to forget it. But he's no longer going to be back there returning kicks, correct? Correct. How much longer does Broderick Jones get to keep putting out these subpar performances? Yes, he'll have some plays here and there, but the bad plays are so bad that they outweigh what he's doing in a positive aspect. And it's not even close because that's how egregious his bad plays are. People, my God, just watching. And McCormick, I'm sorry, that was a bad football game. He put together a bad game. So we can blame Rodgers. Yes, there were some sacks. Yes, there was a couple he held the ball too long. But if you understand the game like our listeners and the Steelers Nation does, we all realize that two of the sacks were clearly on Rodgers for holding the ball too long. Why did he hold it too long all of a sudden? Because we're behind by 10 points at one point in time, or 7 to 10, then 14, where he had to hold the ball to try to get it downfield. Two of the sacks, it was like we Olay blocked for him. Snapped the ball, pulled out the red cape. Olay, go ahead, go by, bull. See if you can hurt our 41-year-old quarterback. Didn't give him a chance. Didn't give him a chance. What are we going to do? You're going up against a physical football team who their coach is going to demand they be physical or they will not be New England Patriots. I can tell you that about Mike Vrabel. I can tell you that about Mike Vrabel. You want to know how? Ask in the comments and I'll tell you how. The dude is going to be physical and you are going to match his physicality and the physicality of his team or they're going to run you over. That's it. So you better get physical. Pittsburgh has to do that this week or we're in for a long game. I mean, because you look at it to fast forward to this game, it's not going to be an easy game, people. It's not. It's just not going to be an easy game. Mike Tomlin, when was the last time he won in Gillette Stadium? Now, I'm gonna start all this out by saying we are aware that all these losses have taken place when Bill Belichick's been the coach in New England. That has not been the case now. That is not the case now. But Aaron Rodgers, 0-2 in Gillette Stadium. Mike Tomlin, Jesus, I don't know when or if he's ever won in Gillette Stadium. But again, all that was a different coaching staff over there, you know. So they throw the baby out with the bathwater in that case. This is a new time. We got to go in there and assert some dominance. But will we? Or will we roll out? We have a lot of injuries. Boo hoo. So does every team. I mean, hell, Cincinnati lost their quarterback. And by the time he comes back, I predict he won't play another down this year because by the time he gets back, I think they'll be out of playoff contention. So why bring him back for the last 3 games? Yeah, you can say because you gave him $275 million, but you bring him back. Do you want him to play next year or do you want him to get knocked out with another 10-month injury and miss next year? No, if you're out, leave him out. That being said, my point being, everybody has injuries. We'll be without Harmon. We'll be without Loudermilk, who's taking up space anyway. We'll be without JPJ, which we should not need JPJ this week. We have the defensive backs. We should get more of Julius Peppers in there, so that should work out. But people say they're picking on Ramsey. We don't have pass rush. We don't have pass rush. Who's going to cover that long? Yes, he's been beat once or twice, but it's the NFL. Name a corner who hasn't. Name a corner who hasn't. But people, TJ Watt, no sacks in 6 games. That's got to change. How often have you heard Cam Hayward's name called? You're not hearing their names called. And all of that's going back to Benton in the middle. He is the little small part of the hourglass where the sand goes through. It's starting out to be a big problem and funneling it down to the man in the middle. Is that right? Is that wrong? Who's to say? Bottom line is this. That's what's happening. But all I know is the man on the outside making a big bag. The man on the other side of him screamed and hollered for his bag and got it. And then had it redone, threatening not to play. And I love Cam and I love TJ. But we got to hear your name called on Sunday, other than a home game when you're getting introduced. This is ridiculous. We got to start picking off. We got 2 turnovers, maybe 3. Anyway, still lost the damn game because we're not coming through in the clutch. And either we have to allow Calvin Austin to be the true number 2, or we have to go get a number 2. I don't know, people. I have no idea. Like, what are we going to do? This game, I think it's going to mimic the first game against the Jets. I think you're going to see, excuse me, I think you're going to see a fairly higher scoring game because I know New England is physical and wants to play physical. I still don't think their defense was better last year than people thought because their record was really bad. But their defense they still give up points and yards. Achane had a really good game against them. The Dolphins put up, I believe, 27 against them. I think the Steelers offense, though we're not as dynamic, but I think Warren is equal to Achane. This is going to be debated once I let this out my mouth, but I think Warren is better than Achane. Difference is Achane is getting a lot more opportunities, but I think Jaylen Warren, because of pass pro, he's better. The receiving, they're the same. Running, I think Warren is better. Achan is a good back, but my point being when I say this is so is Warren. So is Warren. And so that's not to take anything away from Achan at all. That's to give credit to Warren. Stop overlooking him. Arthur Smith and giving the ball. Aaron Rodgers even came out this week and said, I don't know. This kid is a dog. He played a great game. I don't know. Maybe we ought to give him more opportunities. Boy, why didn't he just go in the offensive coordinator's office and say that? Oh, I'm sure he did. This Aaron Rodgers. He doesn't care. His give a damn done left out a long time ago. He wants to win. Say what we want about him, but he doesn't look washed. But if he keeps getting hit, he's going to be washed. Dude, 41. We knew that. We have to protect him. So therefore, how do you protect him? Run the ball, which means the line has to get more physical. I understand. How long are we going to use the excuse that they're young? Only one I'm giving that to is Troy because he missed his rookie year with that injury. So I'm going to give, this is really only he's going in really his third game. I'm going to give that brother a few more weeks. Frazier don't need any weeks. Dude can play. Dude a dog. Suamalo's up and down, but he's older, so I expect that. I expect more consistency, but he's coming off the injury as well. Broderick, my man, no leash. No leash, unless it's real short. You have to be more physical. Keep a wide base quick. Who crosses their feet in pass pro? You're a big boy, and these dudes will pick you up and move you. The minute you cross your feet, you are done. You are done. You take somebody my size, as big as he is, and I'm 245 pounds. And if he wants to cross his feet trying to block me, I could bull rush him and move him. I'm not going to knock him over, but I'd move him. I have no business moving him at 6 foot, 245 pounds and 51 years old. So we got to be better. That's the only way to put it. When you get back to this game, somehow, some way, probably like I am, Vegas still believes the Steelers, and they have them a 1.5 point favorite on the road in a place they rarely, if ever, win. Over and under 44.5 tells you that they expect the game to go a lot. Like I said, I think it will. I think it'll be more like your first game. Will it get up into the 30s? Each team, I don't know. But the kid on the other side of the ball taking snaps looks pretty damn good to me. He was a kid so far through his career I'm wrong on. I didn't think he'd be that good because I don't respect the North Carolina college football program. That's all that was. But it appears that I'm going to be wrong, and I can eat that crow, a little salt and pepper season, anything. But we're going to have to put some licks on this young man, and we're going to have to control him too. He's not a running quarterback, but he can run, i.e., Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow when his toes are right. They're not running quarterbacks, but they can run. Not saying he's on their level as a passer yet, because he's clearly not. I'm saying you have quarterbacks who people think are strictly pocket passers, but they're not. They're really good they're great pocket passers in the case of Mahomes, and a very good pocket passer in case of Burrow. And this kid has proven to be a very sufficient pocket passer to this point when given time, because they don't have the greatest offensive line either. They're trying to piece it together as they go. But that being said, he's still prone to mistakes. So we have to get a pass rush on him. And I understand the Steelers are blitzing at the third highest rate in the league right now, top 5 rate in the league right now. They're blitzing on 40% of the plays. Then again, where are the sacks? You're doing all this blitzing. Where's the sacks? How come no one's getting home? You know why? Remember, go back to the beginning of this show. We're lined up wrong. If we're going to blitz, we're in man. If we're blitzing, we're in man. And when you run your linebackers out and you play outside leverage on the receivers, allowing them to run directly in, the ball's coming out in less than 2 seconds. That's why the pass rush isn't getting there. Line up right, play the right defense behind the blitz. All of a sudden, I bet you see that some sacks come up. I bet you start to hear Cam's name, TJ's name called in some of these games. That being said, I think the Steelers will make those adjustments. and I'm not ready to completely walk the plank. I'm just standing on the plank right now. But these next two games are huge. And damn, the next one, we need to play this one. We lose this one, we are in trouble because these are games they're supposed to win. Tomlin has a stellar record against rookie and young quarterbacks, which young quarterbacks, we consider them 1 or 2 year quarterbacks. And that's what he has this week. And then next week, he has what looks to be Carson Wentz, a game in Dublin, which will essentially be a home game for the Steelers over in Ireland. But nonetheless, we have to put some pressure on this kid. They have Diggs, they have Bourne, their receiving core is not dreadful. It's not dreadful. It's not great. They have Butte. Oh, no, I said Bourne. I meant Butte, Douglas, but their guy is Diggs. They have Hunter Henry. I look for them to try to hit those guys on some short routes because that's what's been killing Pittsburgh to this point, the same crossing routes. So look for another 10 to 12 crossing routes to be run against the Steelers this week, and we'll see if they adjust it. Also look for them to try to get because Travion Henderson, yeah, he only had 5 touches last week, and I am a homer being a Buckeye, but he only had 5 touches last week, but he had 40 yards on those 5 touches. My math isn't great, but I believe that's 8 yards a touch. I mean, it's damn near a first down. And then, like I said, I know Vrabes. He isn't dumb. He's stubborn as hell. So, but he's also not dumb. So I look for him to go ahead and give the kid some more carries, give him some touches, get him, see what he can do, put him in space against Pittsburgh's linebackers who can't seem to tackle anybody. So that being said, though, as we wind this down, I look for this game to be fairly high scoring. I look for both defenses to struggle again until I don't know somebody shows me that they're not going to struggle. I've seen New England's defense held up well the first game. Miami got to them a little bit, so they've been playing better than Pittsburgh. But hell, who hasn't? Um, New England's offense sputtered the first game, sputtered at times in the second game, did enough to beat a poor Miami team. Pittsburgh's defense has yet to show up. Their offense looked really good the first game. They had their moments the second game, but all the momentum got washed out the building with the silly special teams mistake, which put them down 10 when they should have been down 3 with the ball. That being said, if I had to make a pick, I'm going to go with my Steelers. I'm going to be bullheaded right here. I'm being bullheaded, but they asses is pushing it. So I see the Steelers pulling this game out close, and I mean close. I see a 24-23 win by the Steelers to win this game by a point. And the reason I think the game, and that will push you to the over, and it also will push you to New England to take the 1.5. But I see it being, I know you said that's not high, Lou. That's not high. You said high scoring. Well, that's 47 points. That's a lot of points. And the reason I don't think it goes higher than that is because I think both teams want to run the ball, which is going to lead to a faster game. New England's been heavy penalized through the first 2 weeks of the season, which is very uncharacteristic of them, but they have been. I think they had 11 penalties last week or something crazy. Pittsburgh, on the other hand, has barely been penalized. I think they only had 2 or 3 last week. So they're somewhere in the middle. Are you being penalized for stupid mistakes? Are you being penalized? There's an old saying, if you're going to mess up doing something. Are they being penalized for being too aggressive? Or are they being penalized for silly mistakes? Pittsburgh, are you not drawing enough penalties because you refuse to be physical? So we'll figure that out. But I look for both teams to try to establish their line of scrimmage, which is which teams don't. But whichever team can, because neither offensive line is playing great. Neither receiving core is dominant. We have the best receiver in this particular matchup, but he's got to quit dropping the damn ball. He dropped his first 2 last week. I mean, I look for him to go ahead and get that out of his system this week. Could be a breakout game for him because I look for them to establish Jalen Warren on the ground. It's not always going to be pretty, but I think they're going to be bullish about it. As long as they're still in the game and keeping New England down, I think you're going to see Jalen Warren get 20 plus carries and probably 5 to 6 catches out of the backfield. It's going to be a heavy Jalen Warren day, which is going to lead to some stuff. Look for 1 or 2 deep balls to Calvin Austin and look for DK to get 8 to 10 targets. And this is a game that John New could actually break out. I think he should be a little bit more healthy now. He's been dealing with a knee. I think Pittsburgh could rack up some points in this one, but I still say 24 because of the game plan that they'll play and the game plan that they'll be facing. Now, of course, all of that could change with turnovers and short fields, which drives up the score. But all things considered, I'll stick with my 24-23 Steelers. I'll come to you guys again right after the game, hopefully in a lot better mood than I was last week. But bottom line is, we're not accepting mediocrity. Highest paid defense in the league, giving up 31.5 points a game is some bullshit. So the bottom line is they have to fix that because that is totally unacceptable. That being said, we're going to wrap up this week's podcast. Again, please like and subscribe to the show. Again, that helps us out. We greatly appreciate everyone listening. And next week, we should have our man Corey Idle back, Lou Willard for 6 Rings and Counting. Everybody have a great day. Go Steelers.